Yo, what's up, LegendBegins here with a new video, and I know I haven't made one in a little while. I have been extremely busy, but I felt like something today did actually really warrant my attention. As many of you know, the Oculus Rift pre-orders were announced today, and well, they weren't the only thing announced today, I guess I should say, because Oculus, in their infinite wisdom, decided that it would be perfectly fine to sell what was marketed as a budget VR product as something that was apparently should cost the consumer $600 before taxes and shipping. And as a consumer, I want to just say that this is probably the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in terms of business. And I am actually highly disappointed in the company. At one point, the founder and CEO, Palmer Luckey, once made a statement that the goal is to make VR as cheap as possible, I believe, something along these lines, to where everyone can own it. Don't try to yell at me in the comments if that's not exactly correct, but he said something along the lines of, the goal is to make it cheap and affordable to consumers. And I don't know what planet they're from, but $650 isn't particularly the most cheap product I have ever seen in my life. And so I think there's a bit of an issue here. And I don't want to go and blame the Facebook acquisition, because that's what everyone seems inclined to do. However, I'm a bit concerned that some of the Facebook philosophy had ended up leaking into Oculus's business practices. And I really do have a heavy issue with how they've dealt with this situation. They've had Palmer on Twitter and Reddit buttering everyone up for this announcement the past little less than a week. However, it's really not okay to sell a device like of this caliber. Even if it is amazing and great engineering, you can't have VR take off at this kind of price. And I'm not even upset about the fact that they want to make extra money. I'm upset about the fact that VR isn't even a proven platform yet, and they're trying to make money off of it. I know they announced at one point that they would sell at cost, which is, or even at a loss. Selling at cost, for you, those of you that don't know, is selling at the however much the actual product cost them to make. And pretty certain it does not cost them $600 to make that, and even if it did, it's an issue with Facebook not having manufacturing ties, and all the manufacturers just kind of gouging them for everything. And there is a huge issue with this right now. And so consumers, now this isn't the biggest issue regarding this situation. The biggest issue is that it's $600 plus the shipping and taxes. That means that, in my state at least, it was $688 to have it shipped with taxes to my home. And my upper limit was $600, and I saw that the price was $600, and I said, oh boy, I can afford this. However, that was before everything else happened. Well, first of all, I was there the very minute and second that the website went up. And this isn't just about me announcing my personal grievances, but I was there as, like, I am a VR maniac. I love virtual reality. And I was there the second that pre-orders opened. And even though I was there that second, they were having server issues. It didn't go up right away. I said, okay. I took to Reddit, and everyone else was having the same issue with the servers not being up. That's no big deal. But after that, when they were actually trying to get my payment info, I kept getting errors about my payment not being able to be processed, even though all my information was correct. And then, again, online, everyone was having that same issue. However, some people were still getting their orders in. And that was a bigger issue. Because even though I was there, and I had, you know, went to bed early the night before just so I'd be awake enough for these pre-orders and everything, I wasn't able to get one for quite a bit of time. And according to their estimations, I wouldn't actually receive a Rift until April, and then eventually May. And even though I was one of the first ones on the site, and again, it's not part of me just being upset that I wouldn't have gotten it early, but it's the fact that they handled it, they didn't handle it very well. And there's also the fact that I could have lived with $600, and there are a lot of things I could have lived with if they had gone better. However, the fact is, in this situation, I was there right away. I was trying to be one of their most dedicated consumers. And after that fact, I didn't have the ability to gain the Rift before April, and then eventually May, after many, many minutes of not being able to actually buy the Rift because of their payment processing issues. And so that's where just the issues begin. After the payment processing finally worked, and I saw that I wouldn't get it till April or May, I saw the actual cost to me to buy the Rift, the $688. And it's not, I understand, I don't have the worst of the situation. There are people in Australia paying over 1,000 AUD trying to get this thing. And that isn't a cool business decision at all. Oculus is trying to be here, the founder VR company that they were touting themselves to be. And this is after they give everyone who supported their Kickstarter a free Oculus Rift. And apparently they can afford that, but they can't afford to give everyone else, after the $2 billion that they earned, they can't afford to give everyone else a decent price point. And I understand there's some people out there willing to pay that point, but it's not reasonable. And I know there are plenty of counter arguments saying this is a brand new piece of technology, it's breaking new field. But if you can afford to create 2 development kits, one at $300, the next at $350, why do you think it's okay to make this one literally twice the price of the DK1, and after shipping and taxes, twice the price of the DK2? That's not something you do. I mean, I would have bought a DK2, and also part of my issue was that Oculus, back over a year ago, I was going to buy the DK2, but they said specifically, don't go and buy it unless you're planning on developing immediately, because it's a developer kit, and we're going to have the Rift soon, and it's going to be affordable. And I rested on their own laurels that Oculus would tell me the truth. But they didn't. I couldn't get the DK2 for over a year since I considered buying one. All because of the fact that the consumer version was coming, and now I could go and buy it. I'm not going to pretend like I don't have the money, but there's a difference between something being able to afford something and something being affordable. The Oculus Rift is not an affordable product just because of how stinking much it is. And so that's my biggest issue with it, is the fact that they pretty much lied. And it's the fact that the founder and CEO, Palmer Luckey, said that it would be in the ballpark of $350. And I don't know what ballpark they're going to, but $600 is not in the $350 ballpark. So I'm not sure who gave them the idea that that was part of the ballpark that they're aiming for, but no consumer out there would say that. Maybe Total Biscuit, because he has been supporting their actions, which is fine. I don't mind people having differing opinions, but this is just me getting this out there, and it's part of the news of it's just a fact that it's $600 plus shipping and taxes. It's expensive, and I have an issue with the fact that they're making it so expensive. I know because they're getting so many orders that they're delaying the product, but I'm genuinely concerned that this is so far above everyone's price point that they're not going to actually go and buy it. No consumers means no developers. No developers means more no consumers. And at that point, VR as a platform is dead. So that's my issue with this whole situation. They made it too big for the general population to afford. And when the general population can't afford it, the platform dies. And it's not necessarily even the fact that the Rift that virtual reality as a platform is doing pretty bad because of this, but it's the fact that there are developers out there who put their livelihoods at stake. They went and developed specifically for VR because they thought it would be the next great thing. And if nobody can afford it, these people, and if it crashes, these people have lost all they've worked for years. Why bother selling the DK1 and the DK2 if nobody's going to be able to afford the consumer Rift? I know there are some people out there who can, but will the general population buy it at this price? And I really don't think it will. And so, those are my issues with the fact. I don't really have anything else to say other than I'm greatly concerned for this platform, because it was honestly the biggest thing I've been excited for in years. Like, I've been one of the people who've been looking forward to VR essentially my entire life, and now I have, well, I don't want to make this seem like it's about me, but I don't really have much of an option. My only hope right now, honestly, is that HTC and Valve can make the Vive a decent price at all, just because of the fact that HTC has more developing resources, they can get better manufacturing deals. But even with that fact, I'm so afraid, because they're not announcing it, but they've touted it as a premium product. They might rest on that laurel that it's so much better than the Rift, so they're going to base their pricing off of the Rifts, and I really hope they don't. Because honestly, a better business strategy would be to undercut the Rift completely, and when they sell the Vive for, I don't know, let's just say $550, $50 less, it'll totally get much more of a consumer base than the Rift. They will have won the VR war, possibly saved it as a platform, and everything as a whole would have been much better. And really, the thing that I believe Oculus may be forgetting is that this isn't about making any kind of a profit. I know, like I said before, they might have said that they wanted to sell at cost or even lower, but I really can't believe that this is the same as the price of manufacturing. And even if it isn't, even if it is, was it really worth it? So what I believe Oculus probably did was that they had the HTC Vive that they saw announced, then they were like, oh no, we have to hurry this up, so they chose expensive parts. Honestly, I have no proof of this, but it just kind of seems like they're, what's the word? It was a reaction, it was what it seemed like. And if the HTC Vive, which comes with controllers, is anywhere near the price of the Oculus, even if it's the same, I would rather get it because it comes with a full package. And so, it's not about Rift versus the Vive or anything like that fact, but it's the fact that the Oculus, I believe that Oculus made a huge mistake right now. Feel free to dispute this. I just ask that you be respectful, but I believe they made a huge mistake. HTC can still win this battle, even though I really don't care that much who wins it, as long as VR's platform succeeds. If HTC ends up pricing theirs at more than that much or that much at all, then our only hope is Sony with Project Morpheus, and I have confidence in Sony and their the capability to sell things, but especially as an accessory to a console, those never end up selling that well. And so I'm very concerned that VR as a whole might be killed because of this decision, because they couldn't make it low enough that the general population could afford one. And if they made it just so they could add a $100 discount later, I do think that's a very scummy move that they should not have done. If they're just trying to up price HTC so they can drop it, there's no evidence behind that, of course, but I really do think that there is a huge mistake that's been made, and I think somebody needs to come out of the woodworks and present an affordable product. I'm really hoping the HTC Vive manages to pull through, but VR as a whole, I don't believe it's worth spending that much, especially in Oculus' case, just for the headset and an Xbox controller, which costs them maybe a couple dollars to make. And so it's just not worth it if they don't have Oculus Touch and they're still going to charge you this much. I think it feels like a scam, and it feels like they kind of betrayed the trust of the consumers. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. I think it's an issue. I know there's no way I would have been able to say everything I felt, and I really didn't want to write this out. I wanted it to be pretty much from the heart, and I thought it would take about 5 minutes, but it was really about the length of an episode. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Leave me your thoughts, and let me know if you believe in VR, if it'll succeed or fail, and let me know your predictions for the future. Feel free to speculate and say anything you want in the comments. Just be as respectful as you'd like, and make sure to share this video, get the word out to as many people as possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.